What is going on, community? What is going on, people of Earth? Welcome back to the Flash by Night channel, and welcome back to Transformers Tuesday, which may be Transformers Wednesday this week. One weekend, I'm already behind again. It's okay though, we're in the holiday season. Hope everyone is doing well, but today we are going to cover Marvel's Transformers issue number 17. And we're going to answer two questions. One, what's been going on Cybertron? And two, what is a smelting pool? So up until this time, we've been following the Autobots and Decepticons that crash landed on Earth 4 million years ago. But they crash landed leaving Cybertron. So what's been going on Cybertron in 4 million years? Cybertron has become this barren wasteland where you do have Autobots, you do have Decepticons, but you also have these poor robots that are in the middle that have nothing to do with the war between the Autobots and Decepticons, and they usually either get swept up into the war one way or another, or they're just left out in the cold. On this particular day, we have three poor robots being hunted down by Decepticons to basically be turned into fuel in the smelting pool, which we'll talk about later. But they are saved, or at least one of them are saved by Blaster. But Blaster isn't out on some mission to go and save robots. He's actually looking to rendezvous with another Autobot named Scrounge. But Scrounge is at Darkmont, one of the headquarters of the Decepticons. And Scrounge is looking for information. So what we find out is that Scrounge is kind of a less respected Autobot. So he's out to prove himself. And he is going to spy on the Decepticons, get some vital information to bring back to the Autobots and prove himself. But he does get caught by one of the Insecticons in the Dark Mount. Being that he never shows up, Blaster heads back to the headquarters and meets up with a few familiar faces. We have Power Glide, Cosmos, Warpath. I really liked Warpath back in the G1 days because whenever he turned into a tank and he'd shoot, he'd literally say, "Blam, blam." I don't know why I thought it was that funny, but back to the story. Blaster wants to get a search party together and go find Scrounge. But the commander, Perceptor, doesn't really want to use the resources to find Scrounge. They are already short on manpower, short on energy, and he thinks that it would be a waste. But Blaster is either going to find Scrounge by himself or convince Perceptor to let him have a search party. Of course, the latter happens, and the Autobots roll out to the Dark Mount to find Scrounge before he ends up in the smelting pool. The smelting pool is run by this Decepticon named Straxus, and it's basically a place where they take old robots, whether Autobots or innocent bystanders, and throw them in the smelting pool, have them melted down for either spare parts or energy for Decepticons going forward. And this is where Scrounge is headed if Blaster doesn't make it in time. So Blaster and the other Autobots do make it to the Dark Mounts, but Blaster goes in by himself, I guess to be quiet, and tries to retrieve Scrounge, but he is eventually caught and taken to see Straxus. And Straxus, pushes shrapnel away and basically lets it be known that he doesn't care about Autobots and he doesn't think anybody can threaten him. But B eventually does try and throw Blaster into the smelting pool. But little does he know that Blaster's plan was always to get thrown into the smelting pool, close to the smelting pool, at least close enough to get Scrounge. But Scrounge has other plans for himself. Scrounge has already lost an arm, lost both legs, and he basically knows that he would do nothing but slow Blaster down. So he wants Blaster to let him stay and let him meet his fate in the smelting pool, but take the information that he stole from the Decepticons when he was spying earlier in the book. And where are the other Autobots? Of course, they are outside backing Blaster up, making sure that Blaster doesn't have to watch his six, and making sure that the mission went off successfully. Now, what was this information that was so important that Scrounge risked his life to give to the Autobots? If you remember back in issue number 10, Shockwave created a big satellite to make a transmission back to Cybertron. This is the message that the Shockwave was sending. Shockwave was letting the Decepticons on Cybertron know that the other Decepticons were still alive, they are on Earth, and that Earth is ripe for the taking because it's inhabited by humans who are small and weak and squishy, as some would call it. But he also alerted the Decepticons and now the Autobots that Optimus Prime and the other Autobots are still alive and still putting up resistance. That gives our Autobots on Cybertron hope, and that makes everything worth it, makes Scrounge's sacrifice worth it, and brings a smile to Blaster's face. And that was issue number 17 of Transformers. Pretty straightforward story. First and I guess last appearance of Scrounge, but also letting the Autobots and Decepticons know that Earth is ground zero for the new battle between the two factions. Pretty good story. I'm still having fun with it, and I'm glad that you are still here enjoying yourselves with me on this Transformers journey. And if indeed you did enjoy yourself, go ahead, hit that like button, and if you want to keep up with me, catching up with the Transformers, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Of course, feel free to leave comments, and as we always do at this time, love yourself, love others, and I will be back in a flash.